Hello, everyone. Today is Tuesday, January 4th, 2022. See, I got it right now. 2022, not 21. So, I guess it's 2:39 p.m. and so I'm trying to, you know, better myself. I keep on trying to take steps to try to do what I need to do to better myself. So, yesterday wasn't a disaster. Like, I felt like I had to brace myself for a disaster yesterday just to be prepared. And um I'm glad I didn't have like a terrible day or a ruined day yesterday. But a couple of things happened, that made me feel, you know, a little bit agitated or upset. So my sleep last night was better than the night before, I think. Could be wrong, but last night I tried to lay down and go to bed and try to fall asleep at 11:17 p.m. last night. And it seems like, again, no sleep, no actual sleep until after 5 o'clock in the morning. And then I woke up, it was about 9 something this morning. But I'm going to try again to try to go to bed tonight at 10 tonight. Try to go to bed at 10 tonight and hoping I can sleep well. So, forgive me for feeling a little slowed because of my sleep deprivation. I think I may have gotten more sleep than I think I did, but like I'm feeling the sleep deprived effects. So it's like the narcissistic perps. If I try to talk in code, they will still try to figure out, or they will work very hard to try to figure out what I'm talking about. But I'm not that good with sneaking and hiding, and I'm not that talented or skilled with talking in code. But I try to block every avenue that the perps could get to harass or disrespect me. And and so it's like, due to that, a lot of us targeted individuals, we can't be nice, friendly, or as open as we would like to be, because we got to be a certain kind of asshole ourselves in order to protect ourselves from them. It's more like just, trying to be nice to the devil. And I don't want to be nice or friendly towards the devil or people or his, willful servants. So people want to make it like as if they want to make a smear campaign that I'm not a good person or that I'm not a nice person and stuff like that, you know. But it's like people who haven't been corrupted or had their minds poisoned about what to think about me, they'll say that I am a very nice person and that I have a big heart, you know, that I have a good heart and a big heart. So it's like, and I always had the desire to want to help other people whenever I could as well, So, but it's like the narcissistic perps, and especially family members or friends of the family, whether it be foster or biological family, well, or people who grew up with me and know me personally, they're the ones who are abusive and mean towards me without cause for no reason and create a problem. And if I, you know, put a stop to them trying to use and take advantage of me, they'll try to make it like Candy is not the type of person. They try to manipulate and brainwash a person and be like, Candy is not the type of person you think she is. You know, so they'll say you gotta watch Candy because Candy is not to be trusted. So, and they're bold enough to say this in front of my face, and I'd be like, well, what did I do to deserve for you to feel that I'm not to be trusted? And then they'll get hostile, defensive, belligerent, you know, and try to get gangsta and ghetto on me and try to act like they want to fight me and stuff and make a big scene. And then they'll make it like as if I'm the one who provoked everything. That I'm the one who provoked this person to get irate towards me. So then I get kicked out of a place of business because that person went off on me. But if they do stuff on purpose just to make me mad and ignorantly laugh, and I lose my temper, I still got to be the one that's got to go. Now I got to go. I'm the one who got to get booted out. So no matter what the situation is, Candy is always at fault. And then I have to hear narcissistic lectures about you're only hurting yourself. And they're like, who do you think is gonna be hurt? Nobody but you. So they're making like I'm the only one who's missing out on these opportunities, or I blew everything that I blew it all myself. And then they said, well, you can't change the behavior of others, but you can change only your behavior. Or you can't change the actions of others, but you can only change yours. I'm like, well, it's dog. If the narcissistic, take gang stalking out of the equation. Narcissistic abusers alone is why they control me like a total puppet on a string, and then make it like as if you're in control of your own life. No, because if I was in control in my own life, I would have had the things that I wish for, in life, and I wouldn't, I wouldn't even be in this motel room right now, and I would have never worked at those schools if my life would have gone the way I wanted it to go. Then then I wouldn't be in my predicament. So I mean, so I tried a few jobs here and there, filling out applications. I had, I guess, well, one interview with one company today, and then another one. It wasn't like an interview, but it was more like me meeting up with him and him telling me what's going on and stuff. But people make like they want to go out of their way to help you. But it's like, okay, you tell me that you're reluctant to hire me and then say that the job is only $10 an hour. And you say that, well, I'm concerned about you taking a $10 Uber both ways, and that eats up all your paycheck. Well, if you really want to help me, how is it that you stand around and make me wait, and I turn around and these other people come in and you help them out with advice on how to get passive income? But you did not want to sit down and tell me about how I can get that passive income opportunity. But I thought you needed people really bad. And you know, it's like that's how it is. The people who don't show up for work and come when they feel like it, those are the ones who get promoted to manager and supervisors. But the ones who show up to work on time every day, stay to themselves, stay quiet, um, those are the ones who get mobbed off the job or get fired or lose their job. So, I mean, and then bragging about all these organizations that you're associated with, that you claim that I'm part of this organization and that organization, and this organization that I'm with helps people, and that organization that I'm with another organization, and I'm with this one and that one that helps people. Well, you work for, or you're associated with all these organizations that help people. Well, why can't, if you own a business, why can't you show me or help me out or show me the ropes on what I can do, that I can have my own business? But no, you think I deserve to be punished for being enslaved with a janitorial job so you can mock and laugh at me, having a bachelor's degree in doing janitorial or dishwashing. So you can make a clown out of me and a fool out of me and mock and laugh at me, you know. But then if I dare, stand up for my worth, then I have to hear that I have to humble myself and not be so arrogant. And from a religious narc side, they'll try to make it like I'm the narc by trying to tell me that at the end of the day, God doesn't care about your degree at Judgment Day. But he ain't gonna care about your degrees and your business owned either. What makes you think he's gonna care about your degrees and your business? I mean, your college degrees and whatever businesses you claim to own. So, I don't know. People just make me so mad. But I didn't even announce in advance that, hey, I'm about to go, and I didn't even do any videos yesterday talking about, well, hey, I'm about to go to this job interview. But the perps being able to physically locate me, when I went to one of the stores to get an interview today, and then I got a job interview today, and then they had a narcissistic perp that was just standing around, and she came shortly after I did, and she had a family with her, like her kids, and I don't know about husband, but I do remember she had kids with her, and she was smacking her gum super loud, and she twice within like a 10-second span gave me the hate anger look, like as if I'm forbidden to look. gave me mean, dirty looks, like as if I'm not welcome or I'm not supposed to be there. Now, keep in mind, this is a customer, and I'm a potential, you know, possible employee. And so then, I mean, I'm, doing my, you know, I came there for a job interview, and I got the interview out of the way, and because I thought this company said that they needed people really bad too, and were hurting for people. But I called them up yesterday, and they made it like as if there was a lot of applicants to go through. So after the interview, I was told that I was going to hear back, because I had to take matters into my own hands and call them, because I think with that one company, I you know filled out an application twice. But I talked to her over the phone yesterday, and she said, "Oh, I'll pull up your application." And so then, you know, she said that she was gonna, she asked me to have the interview today at noon, and so I came at noon today and got the interview. And she said that I'll hear back later on this week. And so then, after the interview, I guess it took about 10 or 15 minutes. And then I came back out, and that lady, that fake, narcissistic, fake perk customer was still there. I mean, after she gave me those rude, mean looks the first time before the interview, I just went inside the another room, you know. So then it was a perk. A I don't know what. She looked like she could have been mixed race, and she's definitely young. And let me demonstrate. So she was wearing like a red hoodie and driving a black Nissan SUV. And she was waiting for me and had her SUV positioned. Well, she had on both headlights, but like as if she was very much positioned, like, I'm watching you. I got my eye on you. And so I wasn't sure at first. And then after I walked out of the place of business where I had my job interview, then she had drove off, and she had her phone pretty much positioned like this, with one hand and her other hand on the steering wheel. She had her phone like this, you know, but it was kind of aimed at me. So I got a question. Um, I've been uptight and angry and upset about, people not wanting me to drive or have a vehicle, whether targeted or perp. Nobody wants me with the car or driving. And I've been wanting a car to drive so bad, you know, my own vehicle. So it's like, so whether it be another targeted individual, or a fake TI perp, or a TI turned perp, or a regular perp, they don't want me with the car. And they think that I'm strange for wishing I had a car at 38 years old. and then they turn around and say, don't worry about what other people have. But people are saying that with your bachelor's degree, even with no experience, you ought to be able to have a job opportunity where you're guaranteed to have at least minimum of $36,000 a year. Well, if I was getting that much money per year, then I would have had a car and my own place in a car a long time ago. And that would be not, I mean, I don't even know. Yeah, nothing you could do to stop it. Well, the perks will sabotage that. So if you go to the Targeted Individuals Europe blog, I think it's WordPress, and it has a blog post called TI Symptoms. That and I think the Citizens AHT website, Targeted Humans, and a few others say that, if you're targeted, then you're forced to take jobs way below your skill or ability level or your education level and stuff. And there was a YouTube video out there floating around that I don't know if it's taken down, that somebody said over 50% of targeted individuals have at least a minimum of a bachelor's degree or higher. But how can you say I don't have the mentality or the sense or the business to drive? And they'd be like, because you're gonna get nervous and crash, or you're gonna get nervous and kill everybody on the road. So only mature people with sense drive. So, but we hear about how gang stalkers try to run us targets off the road all the time. I've had it happen to me. They don't care that I was driving near a cliff. I mean, driving in the mountains, and they try to run me off and try to make me fall off a cliff. But I didn't realize that that was a gang stalking tactic at that time. And so I'm angry at this one person right now that I wish I could tell him, because you're supposed to be targeted too. And I'm angry that he tried to tell me, and I mean, I've been bothered about over a week about this. So he tried to tell me that, I mean, because he tried to make it like he doesn't want me to drive, but then it's like, remember when I first started working at the school and I thought I was confident enough that I was going to be able to get enough money to get me a permanent place and eventually get a car? And so I was getting a little bit, like up to 42 or 43 hours of overtime at first when I first started working at the high school. And then they switched me to the middle school and my hours were reduced. And I was already trying to inquire about trying to get a car and stuff. And then I talked to him, because I went a long time without talking to him because of being mad at him, about certain things he said before. And so he told me one day recently, he said, I was hoping you would use that money to get a permanent place. And I'm like, but it's my money that I work for, So recently me and him had this conversation, and he turned around and he said, well, everybody deserves a car. And then he said that he made it like as if God doesn't want me with the car. And he said, well, for some reason, God is preventing you from getting a car. And so then he said that, basically he said, well, I don't know where your walk is with God or anything like that. But, he said that, there's some sin in your life why God is keeping you. You know how religious narcs do. There's some sin in your life why God is keeping you from having a car. And he said, well, if God would have wanted you with a car, you could have got a car. If God would have wanted you with a car, you would have been had a car. And so, and then almost instantly he turned around and said, now he recently mentioned something about driving his mom's car recently. But then he turned around almost immediately, and after he told me what he told me, he said that basically if he ends up back on the streets and it's cold, then he said that he's gonna go get a car. But then in past times we had this conversation to talk about the car thing, and so he said, no, 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 because he's like, no, 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 because I know what happened if I know what will happen if I get a car. So I mean, I've had a few other instances where certain targets make it like if they don't want me with the car, then they act like as if they don't want me with a new car. You know, I'm not looking for anything fancy or luxury. You know, even though I never got to drive a luxury car, never, ever. The closest to possible luxury was a PT Cruiser convertible and an Expedition. I don't even think they're considered luxury, that luxury like that. But I mean, I never really got to drive a luxury brand. Like I never got to drive a Mercedes, Lincoln, Cadillac, um, none of those. I never even got to drive an Acura or an Infiniti. So they making like as if I'm sick. People making like as if I'm sick in the head, or why do you want to drive so bad? Or they think something's wrong with me, or I'm sick in the head. And so I be on the verge of emotional meltdown. It's like, ain't this about a bitch that I wish I could drive and again and have a car again. And but here people perping me in their vehicles every day. I have video footage of perps deliberately trying to run me over. And they can still keep their car. Nobody said that they're a danger on the road or that they shouldn't be driving. But narcissistic abusers like biological and foster family members, mainly biological family members, they none of them drive that great. They all drive reckless or drive with alcohol in their system, and then turn around and tell me I shouldn't be driving. The biological gay brother Mark used to perk me back then and try to be like, oh, if the Lord said the same, I hope you get back into the spirit of driving. But then act stingy with his car and then let his gay lovers drive around in his car. And then when getting confronted about it, he'll lie about it. So the biological brother Pete told me that my twin sister told him. He told me this like over 5 years ago. He said that my twin sister, and she told several people about this, saying, whatever you do, don't ever let Candy drive your car. Pete told me that she said that. It's like, well, she will sit there and let him drive again after she said that he got a ticket right around the time the biological mom Frances passed away. He got a ticket in her car, and then she was left to pay for it, and then he cussed her from A to Z. I wouldn't have been able to get away with nothing. Like, she would not have let me get away with that. But then, he even said, oh, when Brandy was up here, she was driving, my Expedition or whatever. But people with narcissistic personalities, they lead me on a wild goose chase to just, they sometimes offer without me asking and be like, well, here, Candy, you can use my car. And I've had, perps and fake TI perps try to bait me in by being like, oh, well, Candy, ain't no gang stalking here. I'm a target individual too, but hey, ain't no gang stalking here. I got a 4-bedroom house all by myself in Wyoming. And, you can use I have a spare car you can use, and, I'm just all by myself or whatever. But if you're the opposite gender, I mean, why would you want another single female to come live with you? You know, so that's the way it's made to be. Like me being like down on my luck and struggling, and it's like the perps know it, that they make it like as if I deserve to be punished with no car or no place to live, no husband, no kids, no family, or nothing that I would like to have until or unless I sell out. And so my twin sister and her cult followers a few months ago tried to make like, yeah, Candy even admitted that, yeah, why did she turn down Alice's offer? And then they try to mock and laugh at me and try to say, oh, so if the car was involved, would she have taken the deal and sold out? No. I'm trying to do my own thing in the right way and try to work for my own car, my own money for my own car. You know, nothing is worth you giving up your soul for. But why am I being blocked from working towards the goal of getting a car? It's a normal goal for anybody else to want a car, or if they have a car, it's a normal goal for them to have the goal to upgrade to another car. A newer car or a better car. And I even seen people with GoFundMe saying that, oh, my car is broke, I need a new car, or I need to cut my car fixed. And they get that help and get the money, through GoFundMe or whatever to get another car or a new car. Or some people donate, nice cars all the time or whatever, but they think the narcissistic perps, they think I deserve, and ever since my teenage years, they think I deserve to be punished with just taking public transportation or walking everywhere. And they've tried so hard to prevent me from getting a license. But I'm surprised my twin sister, you know, was thoughtful enough to help me with that drive right job. I'm sorry, not job. I meant to say the drive right driving school company. But I had to deal with a narcissistic guy who was training me, and he was verbally abusing me throughout the whole training session. And straight up telling me, you're going to fail, you're going to fail, you're going to fail. But then the actual owner, I can, if his name ain't, well, I don't remember his first name, but I think his name was Mr. Hamilton. And he was nice enough that he gave me some encouragement. And so what happened was Mr. Hamilton, he said that he got into a car accident. And so after his car accident, he started up his own driving company. To teach people, his own driver's ed company to teach people how to drive. And so he gave me confidence. And so I was able to use that car and get my license. And, I rented a car through Enterprise. And the first thing I did was drove across the river in New Orleans, my hometown. And I don't know, I guess I was fearless at that time. And guess what? I was on those psych medications. And so, and the mentally slow, crazy biological family was amazed at why and how the hell is this crazy, retarded girl smart enough to know how to drive all the way from Houston, Texas to Milwaukee, Wisconsin alone and by herself. And I also drove from Milwaukee all the way back down to New Orleans. Around Hurricane, dealing with Hurricane Katrina and everything. So, I had already gotten my car and it was all excited. And then it's like I didn't get to have the fun that I wanted to, because my twin sister and her husband bullied me, scammed, and cheated me out of money before I could go to Costa Rica, and I was forced to go to Costa Rica broke. And didn't get any, and couldn't participate in certain activities, and then they lied and said that they paid me back or slid the money underneath my door when they never did such thing. And so, They had certain students that were driving in Costa Rica, and it's like, well, and it's like they were gang stalking the shit out of me in Costa Rica, and I didn't know, of course, in 2005, before Hurricane Katrina, I had no knowledge of gang stalking, but almost everybody on that damn trip was a perp, and the Costa Ricans didn't like me, but that's another topic. But it's like going so long without my Spanish, or going so long without driving. It's almost like as if I have to kind of start back over from scratch. So now here in Pensacola, it seems like none of the taxi companies want to hire me, or they want to act like as if they want to create loopholes. I mean, not loopholes. They want to create roadblocks, um, to try to prevent me from the opportunity to drive a taxi, or you know, or something like that. Or like they're trying to create big hurdles to try to prevent me from, driving a cab. So it's like, but then I say and I don't know if the narcissistic gang stalkers are threatened by that. That if I did have my own car, or a way to get a car, then if I have a way to get a car, then then that will, they feel threatened by the idea that if I had a way to get a car, then I can, I mean, the door towards so many more job opportunities can be open. And I've even applied for certain vehicle related or driving related job opportunities lately, and some of them never responded. Some of them, people have suggested, well, hey, why don't you try this company or try this place? And I apply, and sometimes I hear nothing back. But I feel like I don't want to be pestering. But one of the job opportunities today, the guy was concerned about a $10 Uber ride each way. And he said that he was concerned and didn't want me to have to, he didn't want me to have to spend money, like part of my work paycheck, going towards Uber. So he suggested that I get an electric bike. I'm like, well, if I can get if I can be trusted with an electric bike or a regular bike, then why not be able to be trusted with a car? So people don't tell me I don't have the mentality to walk anywhere, but I think I feel like whoever does not want me driving, you're a narcissistic abuser. You got a narcissistic personality for not wanting me to drive. Because if you're in Ohio, how does me being in Florida driving affect you? And you're so passionate with trying to protest. No, no, no. Like you don't want me to drive. And that's been getting underneath my skin and just bothering me lately. And I'm forced to bite my tongue and be scared of speaking out or speaking up or speaking my feelings. Or I deserve to be just smear campaign or clown. Or I'm supposed to be scared to even mention the names of all y'all abusers and offenders. So if you acknowledge that we targeted individuals are deprived, utterly deprived, and I mean, if I had my own vehicle or help with the way to get access to a vehicle, I mean, my homeless situation alone is hindering me from getting access to a vehicle. So certain car dealerships, like even with the buy here, pay here, they said that the only way I can get a car is and be homeless. Because I'm wondering how other homeless people get a car. But basically, they make it like as if unless but I mean, usually a homeless person, unless they had a way to get a donated car or something. Because about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I applied for certain. I mean, applied for certain vehicles from certain charities. Heard nothing back. So I feel like churches aren't doing enough. All they want to do is just feed people hot dogs and say go away, and be thankful in Jesus' name. And they call that help in the community. These Masonic sellout satanic churches that want to keep you homeless and don't want you to better yourself. And then they say it's your own fault. But as I said, all they'll do is, try these fake churches don't want to feed the real word. This watered down fake churches that feed you old stale hot dogs and with moldy bread, and then expect you to and then do a fake prayer talking about nourishment for our bodies, Lord. And then it's like as if these days the churches have less power than the government. So GMO hot dogs is not nourishment for your bodies. So churches choose favoritism and handpick who they want to help and create. I mean, they choose favoritism and try to create jealousy within their congregation. And so it's like I want to be able to work for my own car. Or it'd be nice if if I would have had enough money donated to help me get a car, or or a car donated, and to be able to have more freedom to move around and get around and drive around and stuff. But as I said, if it's okay for me to have an electric scooter to get around, then why am I to not be trusted with the car? And I heard that even with biking, there's road rules too. So with the bike, I've experienced that I cannot ride uphill on a bike, uphill or downhill, because I can only ride flat on a bike with my kind of disability, But if the hill is steep, I'm scared to on a bike. I've tried, riding up and down the hill, and like near the mall, like in 2019, I had a bike and I had difficulty riding up and down the hill and had to often take a break and walk the bike. So I'm kind of afraid to ride up and down hills with the electric bike or the regular bike. I'm just scared to do it because I'm afraid of breaking my neck. So like I nearly had a bad accident of falling when I tried to ride downhill by the mall in mainland Pensacola, and I put on my brakes, gently, and still it's like the hill was so steep. And so and I know the bridge is very, steep, but I've driven, over bridges and stuff like that. A car wouldn't flip and tumble like a bike would. But So it's like, yeah, I mean, throughout the years, narcissistic perps make it like as if I deserve to be punished with just public transportation and walking for the rest of my life. And I'm not allowed. But I mean, and then this so-called target, he won't tell me his reason why he think I shouldn't be driving. Because I mean, it's like he's trying to make it like God doesn't want me to drive. But I mean, are you saying that God defends and agrees with the perps, or are you projecting your personal opinions and feelings onto God? That's what religious narcs do, So and saying stuff like, "Oh, can't nobody war like me," talking about spiritual warfare and stuff like that. Oh, can't nobody. What makes you so special that can't nobody war like you? That can't nobody war like you? You know, and so talking about spiritual warfare and religious narcs. They always claiming that everybody's full of demons except themselves. Even Miss Lisa Ruby played psychological games and toyed with me about the car thing. Off her own mind, I didn't even ask. But she said off her own mind. She said, yeah, we're going to take Candy driving. And she would drive reckless and make me feel unsafe in the car, but then treated me like she didn't trust me to drive. But she kept rubbing in my face about the other so-called client, deliverance client with the fake deliverance ministry that she had. Now she let the other person drive her car wherever. But Miss Lisa Ruby also, she tried to, you know, it's like they skilled in manipulating you into wasting more money and then turn around and condemn you saying you were wasting your money. But it ain't your money. So, you know, it's like to be religiously damaged by even a religious narc that's younger than you. You know, I'm talking about a few other people because they got people of all ages that's religious narcs. And if they're spiritually in error, they can tell you that you're in error. But they can tell you that you're in error. But, you know, it's like they can tell you that you're in error, but they're not going to, but you can't tell them where they're spiritually wrong at. It's like, how can you say that you're freed from demons, but then you turn around and act like a perp? Or how can you say that you were delivered and set free when, you know, when you try to justify favoritism and partiality, or why it's okay for this person to do something and not another person? You know, I mean, I don't know what's the hold up. I mean, what's the setback of why so many people just want to hold me back from what makes me happy? You know, I'm surprised for the first time in my life I rode in a Tesla today. And you know what? A lot of vehicles I don't even really like. I'm surprised that, I kind of was. I mean, I rode in it. It was somewhat amazing, but not all like shocking, like all kind of to me. It was certain things about it was amazing, but overall, I kind of really wasn't impressed with, you know, riding in a Tesla. But the driver was extremely nice, and he wasn't a perp, you know. But I mean, I rode in a doggone Tesla today, you know. But I don't wish for a Tesla, but it must have been part of the gang stalking that the day before I was scheduled to test drive a Tesla was the day before. I mean, like, well, actually, it was super early that morning. Later on that day, I was supposed to go test drive a Tesla. But guess what happened? It was all my stuff got stolen when I was homeless on the streets in Santa Monica. And in Santa Monica, they have like a Tesla shop, and I had scheduled to. And I didn't realize that was part of the gang stalking as well. I mean, you stole all my belongings and all my ID because I mean everything just because you didn't want me to test drive a Tesla. But it's like, and I'm like, well, wow. I thought it was a coincidence, but I didn't realize that that was part of the gang stalking. And I think the person who told me about it, I think he was probably the one who did that. Well, I could be wrong, but because I had to go use the bathroom, and I walked up. I had to go up the pier to go and pee, and they had the bathrooms, and so then when a black guy acting like he was trying to make sexual advances at me, and I turned him down, and then he made it like as if I deserved to be punished with my stuff being stolen because because I didn't make sexual. I mean, because I didn't feed into it. But then he was trying to make it like these Hispanics were the ones who stole my stuff. Well, if you knew about it, why didn't you put it to a stop? And so I was depressed, traumatized, and devastated for a long time, and dealt with an illegal Mexican perp at Subway. I told him my situation, and he made it like I was such a loser by telling me, at least I'm not like you. At least I got a job. And he tried to offer me an old sandwich that been sitting out overnight. And so, so he made it like as if I was entitled because I was trying to get a fresh sandwich. But that old sandwich could have harmed me. And so he was very abusive, and then he mocked and laughed at me. He's like, so what? At least I'm not like you. At least I got a job. And so I reported him to corporate. You never get any closure or anything. Anything done about it. And so later on, I went to another place. I don't remember which place of business it was, that they eventually let me have whatever I wanted and didn't charge me when I told them my story about what happened. And so then I had to be panhandling and begging for money every day in Santa Monica. Some days I went the whole day of begging and panhandling and got not one penny from anybody, from millions of people. Well, I don't know about millions, but I'll say thousands and thousands. And most people were rich and foreign, not from America, and didn't speak English. And I was trapped and stuck in Santa Monica for like a whole 3 weeks until my paycheck from the Grand Canyon. That paycheck came, and then and I had to get a California state ID. And then I was able to get home and then get my license, get a replacement Louisiana driver's license when I went back home to New Orleans. But then can't come home to family and be treated with more abuse. So then I lost my temper and lashed out because I'm like, why am I going through like problem after problem? Like, what the fuck is going on here? Even your own relatives putting you through shit. So certain relatives I have not even contacted since October 13th and 14th of 2018. That retard Ramona, I have not contacted her since. And I told y'all before about her rubbing her hands together, hoping that she can get me. But I didn't know the agenda back then. But she always wanted me to rent a car. And then in 2017, you know, she acted like she had a change of heart. Like she acted like she wanted to jump on a bandwagon and act like she didn't want me driving. Didn't want me with the cab driving job or nothing. And they gang stalked me so bad with the cab driving jobs in New Orleans and set me up to fail. Giving me bad cars or cars that don't work and then blame me for the car not working. When I try to drive for Glenn's cab, I mean, I don't know who it was that slashed the tires or, caused me a flat tire. So, but they act like they don't want me to drive and say that, oh, you're wasting your time trying to drive for a cab. How come you're going to drive for a cab? Why drive for a cab when you can drive for Uber? Well, I'm still driving. So, I heard from both sides that cab drivers and Uber drivers are struggling. So, but my thing is, I'm trying to get whatever I can get. But if I had things my way, I wouldn't want to drive people around. I'd rather just have a driving job where I can just make deliveries, whether it be food packages or whatever. And, if I can do it at my own pace. So, if I had a car, I would like to, maybe drive for Amazon Flex or have a job delivering medical supplies or something like that. I wouldn't mind doing something like that. But these narcissistic perps out here trying to make it like as if Candy does not want to work. And Candy just wants her hand out. And she just wants everybody to pamper her luxury lifestyle that she wants. And I don't want a luxury. I used to when I was younger. But now I'm not trying to get a materialistic luxury lifestyle. I would be content with, if it's a 1-bedroom trailer or cottage or a small tiny house or an RV camper or something to live in. And I would like to be one of those type of people who, get to make money, working at home or working from home at my own pace or something like that. But it's like I can't have the happiness that I want or the opportunities that I want. Like right now, I don't want to have anything extravagant. I would like to have like something simple. But who are you to dictate that you can't have a new car? But you're supposed to be targeting like me. Or, oh, why the hell would you want to get a new car? And the perps would destroy it or whatever. But I get called the fool. But well, how the hell you get around? Because you brag about your $80,000 a year career, and then come to find out you an exploitative fake TI perp, and brag about your horses and your ranches that you own, or brag about renting out rooms to people. It's like people they try to find roadblocks to deter me and try to block me from getting ahead in life. And they don't want to give me any steps to help. Like, how the hell you just give me like act like as if you're hesitant to give me a $10 an hour job, and then these people walk in later, and then you're giving them some advice on how they can get passive income and make money every day. But then you say, "Oh, I belong to this organization and that organization that helps people," but it's like, but if you really want to help me, why didn't you tell me about this passive income opportunity? Why the hell you think I should be punished with busting my ass with physical manual labor and you know busting my ass with physical manual labor? But then he said that he made it like as if like because he's I mean, and I'm pretty sure his employees have vehicles or cars to get to work. But how the hell you have a car but you're unreliable to get to work? And he was like at wit's end with employees coming when they feel like it or not coming really at all. And so he said that he was kind of basically hesitant to hire me because I don't have a car. And I'm like, well, I'm just right around the corner, you know. So he said he didn't want to see me walking at night or walking in the rain. And he said it would take an hour to walk to where I need to, walk to the job. But he told me, oh, you would do better off because I'm concerned about you paying $10 for an Uber, and it would be unfair for you to spend money on an Uber. Um, it would be unfair for you to spend money on an Uber. You know, your work money on Uber. You know, but if they perk me at Panera Bread, I can't work there. Cause I mean, if they perk me as a customer, what you think they're gonna do with the workplace mobbing? And that's a job I can just walk right across the street. So I mean, I was walking to the school every day, walking just a couple of blocks. But once a month, go to Pensacola to run very important errands. So it's like I guess people don't think when they try to tell me don't drive, don't get a car, and it's like my mobility is hindered. A lot of things that I can't get to do because I mean that app Turo, they try to blame my credit score for the reason why they turned me down to apply to rent one of their cars. And hire car, they didn't want to help me when I tried to that I mean the app was trying to make it like as if they wouldn't even try to like the app would not even allow me to try to upload my driver's license. And I called some of the agents and they acted like, oh, just delete the app and then delete the app and then you know re-download it or something. And I did that and was still experiencing the same problem. So basically with this certain kind of social score thing, they're making it like as if because my credit score is a certain way, then they figured that you will be less likely to report a car accident based on your credit score. And so that's why Turo turned me down. But remember what I told y'all about the landlord, when I was in Los Angeles. My credit was 699. 1 point away. And I paid all my rent on time, paid bills on time, quiet and didn't say much. And the landlord was a bullshit perk by trying to lie and say you're the worst tenant. Because I kept warning him and the people at the Section 8 about the vibrating and the noise campaigns, noise harassment. And it was just unbearable for me to stay there. And they said, well, oh no, if you leave, then it won't be breaking your lease. Oh, we understand. We totally understand. And then afterwards, oh, and then the landlord blocked my number and was dodging and ignoring my calls. And I finally got a hold of him, and he said, oh, well, it's okay. We got the place cleaned up, Candy. But he was doing some weird perp shit ever since 2013. I mean, the gate to my to to my house that I was renting on Section 8, they vandalized it. They did me so. I didn't realize this was all part of the gang stalking. Finding smushed dead birds on my, and Dinesha Scott, who was another targeted individual, she mentioned that too, about dead birds on her doorstep. I think that's witchcraft part of gang stalking. I would leave, and when I was living in Los Angeles, I would leave and make double and triple sure that all the doors are locked. Go to the library and then come back home and like they had, how they had the screen door would be locked, but the other door would be wide open. Or I would go to sleep, wake up the next morning, and my cabinets are open. And I know I didn't do it because I don't leave my cabinets open. And I had some strange stuff going on, and I didn't realize it was part of the gang stalking or the targeting. So recently, about a week or two ago, I saw another targeted individual. She said that in the past, the gang stalkers have caused her at least 2 car accidents. They got some targeted individuals who get hit by a car, ran over by a car, and it nearly happened to me so many times that they nearly succeeded so many times. All these poor drivers and reckless drivers and bad drivers out here. But then when people ride in the car with me and I'm driving, they act like as if they wonder, oh, look at this crazy, weird, stupid bitch that she follow the same rules as the driving handbook. But if I break one rule, then they're narcissistic and self-righteous about how, oh yeah, you deserve to get your license taken away or something. I never had my license revoked or nothing like that, but and I never had a suspended license either. So and I mean, after Hurricane Katrina, after we went to Milwaukee, like the biological brother Wyatt and them, but I don't even want to call him a nephew, John. I mean, it's like, I was wondering why the hell you just get, and other targets I've seen too, that they just get pulled over for no reason and get a ticket and falsely accused of speeding when they were going the speed limit and stuff. So, and they don't care that it raises up your insurance and everything. But all because a gang stalking police officer lied on you. So this was before I've ever even, before they even had this red light camera thing. This was years ago. So I've seen with the red light cameras that almost everybody get a doggone ticket with the red light camera. Like this, the camera's taking pictures of everybody. That, like, why the hell would they rely on faulty technology to govern and make rules and laws for us? And I'm like, this got to be a scam. That, I mean, right out here, right by the schools, they got red light camera. And every, like, I've seen it quite a few times that every vehicle that passes by, the light is green and people are going the speed limit or probably slower. Excuse me. Or they stop properly behind another car that's the first car, and each car, subsequent car, the the cameras, like, come on, every single car got to get a I mean, I heard that the red light camera thing is a scam, money making, money hungry scam to just destroy innocent drivers. But I see these narcissistic perps who drive with one headlight or one tail light or funny tail light, but the red light cameras don't pull them over or stop them. And people be like, well, just because a person is driving by with one headlight doesn't mean they're harassing you. That's one of the main things for the gang stalking. Manipulated headlights, or, oh, what made you think that was targeting you? Because that's one of their tactics, dummy. So yeah, that's one of their tactics. So this guy is hesitant to hire me. And he said this new lady who owns a couple of other stores is supposed to come tomorrow and retrain people. And so he told me, don't come tomorrow, but come sometime later on, another time. But then he said, come tomorrow. And so he kept back and forth giving me mixed messages. And so he made it like as if I should use my own judgment or common sense to come. Well, she already owns a couple of stores. Why the hell does she need to relearn everything on how to train people? I thought that if you own a couple of other stores, you already know how to train people. So I just don't get it. So I mean, verbally you say that you want to help me, or you act like you want to give me pointers on how to better my life, but then in other ways I can see that you're trying to, you say, oh, I'm trying to help you out, but then you're giving me pointers at the same time to hinder myself. And so I really don't like people trying to leave me on a wild goose chase or like a hamster on the wheel. They make it like as if I deserve to be treated like a punished child, and the only freedom or rights I get is the only freedom or rights that I get is you know after I sell out. Then you can do this. Then you can do that. But with Alex, even if Alex wanted to offer me to sell out, even if it came with a car, I would still deny it because I'm trying to keep my soul. I don't want to lose my soul behind a vehicle. But I mean, it's just like essential daily life. You know, I mean, so it's like Alex offered me that house, and the perps were flipped out and outraged because I didn't accept it. You know, so I don't know why the perps, the narcissistic abusers, think that I'm materialistic and vain behind just wanting more liberty with my transportation and better job opportunity. But I've said before in videos about being upset because the former foster mom Adrian Felder saying that you have no business driving and you don't have the mentality or the sense to drive. And that's where my twin sister gets to say that from, the foster mom. And so it seems like it's the people who don't know me or learning me from scratch. It's like they wouldn't see a problem with me having a car or driving, but if their minds are corrupted to think a certain way about me, or that you're slow, you're crazy, or you don't have the mentality or the sense or business driving, or you have no business being on the road, you, you know. And I thought it was just a New Orleans thing that people didn't want me to drive or have a car. But in Los Angeles, I was hindered. I had a place to live, but I was hindered from job opportunities or opportunities to better myself because all the illegals had everything. So in 2017, I was at wit's end, wanting to pull my hair out because I couldn't really find a job anywhere. And the only jobs that were easy to get, in which I never took on those jobs, were jobs to be like a like a dancer at a club or something, or whatever. Some of those jobs, or jobs where you can start your business selling cannabis, get your own business, and anybody can do it. So I felt like spiritually I didn't want to sell cannabis, for I don't think God would want, you know I mean, I tried to not do jobs that God wouldn't approve of, but I don't think that God would, you know feel like he doesn't want me driving. All these wicked people on the road, like, come on. So if God is no respecter of persons, why would he let all these wicked perps drive? But you're trying to make it like as if God wouldn't want, there's some reason why God wouldn't want you to drive because you got some sin in your life that you haven't repented from. So, um, but it's like, I don't even know if that person telling me that was deceived or deceiving himself. But for him to try to say that God said, that God is feeling this way about me, you know. And so this is one of the same people the same guy who wasn't there for me or supportive of me when I had the incident at Sky Zone and was having an emotional meltdown and stuff like that, and was being bullied online and just having it real bad, and then said that the Sky Zone manager had a right to fire me. But you're supposed to be targeted. But the thing is, for him to say that God doesn't want me driving, and then say, well, he said, well, if I end up back homeless on the streets, then I'm gonna go and get a car. Right after he just told me that God doesn't want me driving. So I mean, as I said, I don't understand why certain targeted individuals feel the need to act narcissistic, controlling, and jealous and bizarre towards each other. And then those same people get defensive or offended when I say that I really don't have nobody. Because I mean, the buy here, pay here car lots, they they want you with a permanent address with proof, and also a car rental. They want you with address of proof of a utility bill, and proof of an apartment lease plus utility bill. But a car dealer had told me, it was at least two of them that told me that the only way, if you're homeless, the only way you can get a car, bypass getting a car, is if is if you had the money to pay the car off, but you can't really finance the car because you know they will have a hard time trying to locate you if you owed on bills or whatever. But I'm usually good on paying my bills and stuff like that. But the thing is, remember what I told y'all about waterfront mission playing with my money? So I'm sorry, playing with my mail. They play with my mail, so they make sure I wouldn't get it. I almost in 2019, December 2019, I almost missed jury duty because they don't give a fuck, and yet they're supposed to be Christian, a so-called Christian organization. So I mean, and it's like I don't understand how somebody could be I mean, for you to not want me to drive, but then you say it's a shame that your family forced handicap you or forced infantilize you. But then here you're doing the same thing, but you won't tell me why you don't want me driving, and yet you're supposed to be targeted too. But again, like if you in Ohio or you know Nebraska, why do you feel the need to get in your feelings and emotional and uptight about not wanting me to drive? And the money that I work for, you'd be like, I was hoping you would use that money to get a permanent place. Well, who said I wasn't trying to? I'm trying to get a permanent place and a car. And a car will help me, to be able to get around easier and get more job opportunity. But I also would like work at home or work from home that if the gang stalkers cause me sleep deprivation, then I can still be making money by doing stuff at home. And then once my sleep improves, then I can get back on the road or something like that. And other targets have been like, well, hey, why don't you put up a GoFundMe or a fundraiser and raise money to get donations for a van, you know? And like, I wouldn't expect for another person to get me a brand new car. I'm not expecting that. I would like to get to work for my own brand new car. But everything is coming so close that they want to do driverless cars and make sure that nobody's driving soon. And, that's something that makes me happy and something I would like to do. I felt like I needed to express these emotions and these feelings because I'm emotionally sensitive about this topic. And I was feeling enraged for a long time, you know. And so it's like, as I said, if you work $12 an hour full time and I work those same hours, how is it easier for you to already have a car and a permanent place to live? But I get that plus Social Security and I'm still struggling. So I have my phone bill and my other bill I already paid. My storage bill. But if once I get my permanent place, if I can get a permanent place to live, then if I can get a permanent place to live, then I can get rid of my storage unit. And then I can be able to prep and store, you know, I can be able to be a prepper and store up, I've seen videos about empty shelves and shortages and stuff like that. Like we may be during the times that we're in, but how the hell if you need people so bad but you're still reluctant to hire me? So when I walked out of the, from the interview for the job opportunity today, you know, well, one of the job opportunities, one of the interviews, that perp was sitting right there, and it was a female, and I'm like, well, people like her is probably the reason why I end up being a big. I mean, why I end up being either not hired or she probably went back to the company and told them, hey, don't hire her because she did this, that, whatever. This person I never even in my life seen before. But of course, most of your perps you don't know this person. But I heard the perps don't know you, but I heard that they're brainwashed with some lie about you in order to carry out to do these things. But they act and talk like as if they know you. But I don't know that person who trying to say that God doesn't want me with the car. I mean, you really try to upset me, and I feel like you were perping me by telling me that because you. And then any other times I told him about my sensitivities about that, you know, he would militantly ignore me, you know, and so I mean, that's a perp thing to do for you to tell me that God doesn't want me driving, and then turn around and say that you're about to go get a car. Or if you end up homeless and it's cold, then you're gonna go get a car. But you think that I should get a place first, but you got a place, and then say that if you become homeless, then I mean that's hypocritical. And you're younger than way young, like almost a decade younger than me, talking to me like this. I was hoping you'd use that money, take that money and get a permanent place. It's not your money, motherfucker. You don't work for it, and you're not my husband. We're not married. And I'm just sick and tired of being treated like this. And so all these years that I've been hindered, imagine nobody giving you a chance at employment for 11 or 12 years. Can y'all picture that? After you got your college degree, after you got a bachelor's degree, nobody want to give you a chance for 11 years. So many times I've tried to get jobs, and even in Denton, Texas, but lack of transportation was the problem. I even went back to school. If the retarded gay AIDS brother Mark can freaking drive me to mental health appointments, then why the fuck you ain't gonna drive me to work? Or let me use your car to go to work? But yeah, they'll be more than glad to take you to your mental health appointments. And, narcissistic, evil perp. I mean, and Mark would sit there and he had a warrant out for his arrest for outstanding tickets in Corinth, Texas, and years ago. Oh, but you gonna treat me like as if I'm not to be trusted with the car. But why? You don't even tell me why. But when I had my Hyundai Elantra, him and the fake foster mom Adrian Felder, both of them said, "Well, you should all." It was very wise. You should always have somebody else to have another person to have one set of another set of your car keys. Well, I knew not to trust him, but the fake foster mom Ann manipulated me into feeling like I have to trust her, or I have to hand my keys. And then she went to narcissistic enough to claim my car as her car. But she treated me like she didn't trust me to drive that raggedy ass Dodge Caravan. And I wasn't even 200 pounds yet. And her and the foster stepdad try to falsely blame me and say that I'm overweight and obese enough that me sitting in the back seat in the van that it was my fault that the van's tire in the back seat. That me sitting in the back was the reason why the van's tire was getting low. But The foster mom, Adrian Felder, allowed her husband to drive drunk, and he would speed everywhere, and an 8-minute drive would take him 3 minutes. And he would speed everywhere and then crash and then come home and scapegoat and blame us foster kids for the reason why he got the car crash. And he would crash that car so much, getting into so many car accidents from him speeding everywhere. And then the foster mom never once said that, oh, you don't, I mean, she trusted him to drive her doggone BMW. And she kept giving him chance after chance after chance with him just being reckless everywhere. But I mean, I don't understand what's your hunger, people's hunger for control over me. That's pretty selfish to feel like you don't want me driving and then try to dictate what I do with my work money. I don't have to answer to anyone with the money that I work for. You know, so it's like I just want to live a normal life. So, and I was told that that man that he supposedly gives people rides, well, he told me straight up that he quit, that he's not doing it anymore to give people rides. So he thinks I should go and find another job opportunity, possible job opportunity somewhere else. And so he said that a lady that he used to drive her to pick her up and drive her to the job for 6 months. And he said that she quit because it was too hard. And so you know, but if he got a narcissistic personality, maybe his narcissistic personality made the job too hard. You know, it's like the narcissistic abusers, when they want a job to be, you know, I mean, when they want to run a company or something or run a business, it's like they make the job, they make, it's like the way they tell you to do things, it's like they want to try to tell you the hard way to do it. And then and then they're nitpicky and overly critical, and then make you feel like, oh, I just want to give up and quit. It's not the job. It's not the job that's hard. It's you that's hard. Because of your narcissistic, controlling, domineering, you know, overbearing personality. It's what makes things too hard. Now, with most people, the way I clean the bathroom, the narcissistic gay-ass Michael, the one who looked like a freak from outer space at Seville Quarter, Michael was just a temporary substitute immediate supervisor. But, you know, he was power hungry. And I pretty much had to stand up to him when stuff was not good enough. If Mr. Darrell and Mr. Cliff and Mr. Doug and anybody else was satisfied with my work, what makes Mr. Michael, who's the substitute, what makes him think that he got the authority to say, well, this ain't good enough? Well, you did me a favor, Michael, because now you got everybody telling me I have the bathrooms looking and smelling beautiful. You got everybody saying, because the way you trained me is now the reason why, you know, and when him telling me to do this way, and I said, well, I can't do it. It's too overwhelming or it's too hard. And if it ain't your way, then, you know, if it ain't your way to do things, then you're doing it wrong. So why do I have to take the sanitary bags for the woman's sanitary dispenser and he wants it to look neat and pretty? I ain't got time for that. Nobody else has anything to say. I don't feel comfortable with, even with gloves on, I don't feel comfortable with digging my arms and picking up beer bottles outside of a woman's sanitary dispenser. And then I have to take the thing out and empty it because it got some beer in it. Just gross. But you'll be surprised. And only one time working at Seville Quarter with those about 2.5 months. Only one time I found, I think it was a 20, I don't remember if it was $10 or $20 bill on the floor in the bathroom. But the men will say that when they're sweeping outside, that they will find money all the time, or that they will find like $35 a day or something. But I felt like, well, sweeping the outside, you know, the outside work, I felt like that's a man's job. But they wanted me for $10 an hour, which kind of found out was minimum wage. You want me to manually sweep the stairs. So, and then they act like, oh, we're impressed, Candy. We're impressed about how great you cleaned the, how well you cleaned the stairs and stuff like that, So, but a person with a narc personality will look for the smallest little crumb and say, and they will look for the smallest little crumb and then make you go and redo all the stairs, and they stand back with their arms folded to watch your every move and make sure you do it their way. But Mr. Darrell said that I shouldn't have had to ever, I never had to, but Michael said that I was gonna have to. And he tried to say, "Oh, that's part of the job, and you're just making excuses, and nobody in the future is gonna want to hire you." But Mr. Darrell said that was basically for the guys, and that I didn't have to worry about sweeping outside. So I never did have to sweep outside. I think one time I was made to sweep outside, but and Michael, he rubbing his hands together with a deceitful looking smile on his face, trying to make it like as if I had to be just glorified as this bathroom specialist. I'm like, come on, don't try to pretend to fake flatter me and then try to make me feel stupid at the same time while you're pretending to fake flatter me. Bathroom specialist. But Michael, before he left the first time, he was always the substitute to fill in for Mr. Darrell. And Mr. Darrell really never, no, yes he did, because he might be like, well, Candy, why didn't you fill up the paper towel dispenser? I've been like, well, it was the thing at the top would break sometimes, and I tell them, so they're like, oh, why don't you write stuff down? Well, they haven't fixed it, so that's why. Candy, why didn't you, clean this toilet? Well, the reason why, because it stopped up, and I told y'all about it. But other than that, Mr. Darrell didn't really have much complaints about my performance, or Mr. Cliff, or none of them really, But they made it like as if they were amazed at my cleaning. But even when I was at the fake dirty YMCA, almost all the employees there are, I didn't say every employee, but almost all the employees there are not highly narcissistic perps. So and then there a whole bunch of I always had to hear people tattling on me and making complaints about me. But it's like to deal with being bullied, even at the YMCA, that everybody's like harassing me and fucking with me for no reason. And, normally I would never join the YMCA or be part of a gym or anything, because I try to stay away from gyms and YMCA and stuff like that, because I don't like them taking money out of my bank account. So that's why I never try to get a gym membership. So but when I started going to the YMCA, because I was looking for whatever job opportunity I can get. And so I got the job, through the YMCA. And when I was cleaning up the bathrooms, the people would always thank me for how great I had the bathrooms looking, you know. So it's like, but even with the foster mom, my bedroom or any chores around the house was never good enough. But it was never good enough or never clean enough. And she didn't clean shit. Made us do everything. Her slaves. Clean up slaves. And then wait till after we turned 18 and she loved the foster boys enough that she washed dishes after them. But she was had her nose turned up and was too good to wash dishes after us. But she wants to take the brownie points for raising us. She wants to take the brownie points for raising us. But, but she didn't treat us how she would do her own kids. She would have never. I mean, as I said, how come there's no hindrance to my twin sister having the things that I wish I could have? And then they want to try to make it like, oh, that right there is Candy's jealous. No, because you sold out to get the things that you got. Nobody's protesting telling my twin sister she shouldn't drive. She has had her share of car accidents too. Or certain car situations. So it's like the foster mom's own son Joe was always, narcissistic abusers do stuff like drive on a suspended license and then treat you like they don't trust you to drive your own car and then try to take over the car that you do have. And, I mean, I wish I would have known in 2005 what I know now. And it's like I probably would have had the fun that I wanted or the enjoyment in life that I wanted, without my family. And I didn't realize being an adult when you have, even though you may share the same genes or the same DNA with these people, you know, but or you're the same in the same blood as these people, but you're an adult, you're on your own. You don't have to deal with them. But, they want nothing to do with me unless I compliant with mental health. But then certain psych medications tell you that to be careful of that this medicine may cause drowsiness, so be cautious when driving. And I never really had sleep-related issues with driving. I was on those psych medications. I had a car for over a year, like almost a year and 4 months. So if I was able to do it back then, and I mean they thought I wasn't mentally capable of driving to Milwaukee by myself. I mean, I guess I just used old fashioned, I guess maybe it was Google Maps, but I kind of don't even remember how I got there. Maybe I had Google Maps directions printed out or something, or Yahoo Maps or something. I don't remember. But I mean, here it's easy to get to New Orleans. Just hop on I-10 and make your way straight through. I mean, you can go I-10 West, and I can get to New Orleans, on I-10 West. That's all you got to do. So when we were in our teenage years, before the gang stalking and smear campaigns and the abuse, we were 13 years old. and we would go on trips like Oklahoma, Virginia, and stuff. And the foster mom used to make it our responsibility. Whoever was sitting in the front, whether me or my twin sister or the foster sister Joni, she would make it our responsibility to read the map and let her know when to turn on when let her know when's the next exit to turn, or when to go on I-85 or something, or when to go on I 55, or something like that. But I don't think she ever drove us I-85, but definitely I-55, or whatever. I think I-55 take you kind of like towards North Carolina, and I don't remember all those interstate highways, but you know, I mean, even I think that even from New Orleans to Los Angeles, I'm pretty sure they got some detours, but mostly stay on I-10 for 3 days. Stay on I-10 for 3 days. So the narcissistic foster and biological family members, they were surprised. They thought I wouldn't make it, and even told me to my face that I couldn't or wouldn't make it to having a college degree. I barely made it and could have been better without their manufactured crisis. I could have been more successful with college. I mean, with my college degree, with higher GPA, but I'm now thankful and glad that I did not go into the field of obstetrics and gynecology, because then I would have been a what's the right word? I would have I would have been, I don't know what's the right word to say, but I would have unknowingly promote big pharma, not realizing how destructive it is, big pharma. So I'm glad I didn't go into that field. And when narcissistic abusers trying to control me, you know, with them trying to control me so much, it's like when I was going to Nicholls State University, I switched my major quite a few times. If they deliberately set me up to fail with attempts at trying to study biology and wanting to be an OBGYN, and they sabotaged that. So then I tried to major in education. I tried to major in art. Oh, you're not artistic. What can you draw? Okay, well, then I major in general studies then. Oh, well, you're not going to get any far in life with a general studies degree. Well, fine. Then let me major in general studies and then minor in Spanish. But there was no Spanish major at Nicholls State University. So when I transferred to UNO, I was able to major in Spanish and certain, like Spanish grammar. I'm just as good as English grammar, but composition and literature, I suck at both Spanish and English composition and ancient literature. And I'm wondering, well, how are other people getting ahead with a Spanish major and a Spanish degree, but not me, And the it's like the narcissistic family members have created crisis on purpose to cause me to wait. I remember I told y'all that they will wait until exam time to sabotage me, and or I would be doing really good, and they'll create a big setup that's very highly traumatizing. I can't even heal, and I didn't even realize some of the students in the class, were perps as well, with narcissistic personalities. I mean, that guy Tony who got mad at me for doodling on the chalkboard and made a big scene, and everybody defended and agreed with him. So the thing is, oh, you should never write on chalkboards again ever in your life. So I mean, well, I no longer have a reason to write on any chalkboards. But if I wanted to go to fake Walmart or education store and buy my own portable chalkboard, I can write and doodle all the damn nonsense I want. I mean, you're gonna get offended at me jokingly writing in Spanish. I don't I don't feel like coming to class today, and you get mad and make a big scene and get the whole class to fucking gang up on me. I bet you that Gerard Anthony Curtis motherfucker, he's a demand being in control punk hoe fucker who's a narcissistic abuser. And he black and delusional believes he's Spanish. And that was the only time I had a problem with him. And then right after he got mad at me and made that big scene, they had this white lady named Angela Haber, and she was in that Spanish class, and she had like very dark or black hair. That's not his wife, but he had a whole Hispanic wife and mixed kids. And right after after that big scene he created, Miss Angela, she was massaging his shoulders in the class, like as if they were boyfriend and girlfriend. He was fucking cheating. And so then in 2018, I saw Angela Haber again working somewhere. I don't remember where it was in New Orleans. And she acted like a narcissistic perp and treated me like a stranger. But it's like situations created like that when people are nice and normal towards you, and when that they call him Tony, the Gerard Anthony Curtis, a narcissistic abuser, a narcissistic demand being in control punk hoe fucker. When he created that big scene, the entire class turned against me. And it's like even that Casey Family Scholarship people, when I told them about the incident, they betrayed me and wanted nothing to do with me. And I'm like, that's not something that's serious. I mean, because I would go in the Spanish teacher, Miss Dulce Menes, and go in her class and write something like that on the chalkboard or something silly, and she would just go and correct it like a daily edit, and the class would laugh. Because he was the only one who had a problem in Dr. Maria del Carmen Artigas. In Dr. Artigas' class. That lady was old as dirt. And last I heard, she's still alive and still teaching. I'm like, what the hell? You're already like 300 years old. Dr. Artigas is so old. And guess what? Dr. Artigas didn't do anything about she wasn't offended. And that's what, and that Tony guy, he tried to say, because the proper way to say is, ¿Quién escribió esto? Like, ¿Quién escribió esto? Means, who wrote this? But then he was so mad and in his feelings, like, who wrote this? And I just, did the same thing I did in Dulce Menes class, and was doing it for like a weeks, and almost every day, and everybody laughed and nobody really had a problem. But because he had a problem, I had to stop writing on chalkboards for the rest of my life. Don't write on chalkboards ever again for the rest of your life. But what if I'm in another class and another teacher instructs me, hey, Candy, well, write this and that or whatever on the chalkboard. What am I supposed to say? Well, this person said that I'm not supposed to write on the chalkboard for the rest of my life. Now, what if I get penalized for not listening to this teacher who tells me, go ahead and write on the chalkboard? So, he was like, ¿Quién escribí esto? Like, he used wrong grammar anyway. And so, ¿Quién escribí? That doesn't make sense grammatically. So he was so upset that he spoke incorrectly. And then he said, you will get jammed for that, girl. And so then, when I confront him about him and trying to figure out what did I do so wrong and say he hurt my feelings, he's like, you can rock the boat all you want. There he go, perping me with Aaliyah. You can rock the boat all you want. It's like, wait, what the And so he tried to make it like as if he thought that he wasn't going to get to graduate because I wrote that on a chalkboard. That's how narcissistic abusers, they expect perfection all the time and won't allow you to make mistakes. Like if you make, like say for example, if I accidentally burn bacon, you will never catch me burning bacon. I don't cook bacon anyway, but I'm just using that as an example. If you catch me, if I accidentally burn the bacon, then they'll say you should never step foot in the kitchen ever again for the rest of your life. So I should never set foot in the kitchen ever again for the rest of my life because of the one time, I accidentally burnt a little bacon. But then the foster stepdad used to cook food and go sleep on the couch downstairs during the daytime. And he would leave food to go to sleep while you're supposed to be cooking, and you would go to sleep and then leave food to be burning. Let's not forget the foster mom Adrian Felder when she cooked those burnt red beans, and everybody laughed and said that the red beans taste like they laughed and said that the red beans taste like cigarettes. That big ass pot of red beans. And the foster mom forced us to eat it until it was gone. We weren't allowed to throw that away. That's your mistake, lady. So I'm just telling stories, y'all. Don't think that I go around thinking about that Tony situation all day, every day, or that I'm still dwelling on it. Because, I got a lot of other things to think about. I'm just telling y'all true stories about what has happened. Dealing with narcissistic abuse and the gang stalking and stuff like that. And about, how people just try to restrict my life over the silliest little things. Let me ask y'all a question. The guy who nearly ran over me, nearly succeeded at striking me, and there was a witness there around the time, I think it was, right, but it was, I think it was on my cousin Blake's birthday. I think it could have been that Saturday or Sunday, right before Blake died. I was supposed to have died too. Did anybody confiscate that guy's car? No. Did they say he shouldn't be driving? No. I've had people, when I'm walking on a crosswalk, the light says go. The white walk sign. The white light that signals for you to walk. And I'm almost done crossing, and then there's a car who makes a right turn and nearly strike me and act like they're trying to beat me with walking to the crosswalk. And that happened too many times. And I heard that people in Greenville, South Carolina, see everybody speeds everywhere, including police, and you rarely see people get pulled over for speeding. But everybody speeds in Greenville, South Carolina. And everybody questions, well, are all these poor drivers, are they all 13 years old? Like, why does everybody drive so bad? But if they got a majority of bad drivers, and narcissistic abusers are usually poor drivers or reckless drivers, and so they make like as if I deserve to be punished for being eliminated off the road. Like, no, don't give Candy even the keys to the car. Wow, they caused a damn accident in the snow and caused 28 cars to crash. I remember I've told y'all when I had my car, more than one instance I've had people crash into me. That people say that they shouldn't be driving, or that they have no business, or the mentality or the sense to drive, or that they should never drive again. No. So if I make a mistake with anything, why should I be banned? If I make a one-time mistake, they're like, oh, because you're going to go and do it again. Well, other people make that mistake too. Do you go around and tell them? Do you go around and tell them that that you should never do this, you should never do that ever again, or you're wasting your money doing this, or you're doing that. And then they manipulate you to waste your money their way, the way they want you to. Like when I told y'all about how Janet manipulated me into wasting my whole damn um stimulus check. Right? I mean, when that first stimulus check. I thought I was gonna, I was calling myself trying to prep and stock up and store, and all that food, you know, had to go to waste. Hundreds of dollars worth of food had to go to waste because I called myself trying to stock up and prepare. And then she's sneaky enough that she waited a week later to tell me that she was already down in Miami. Now she can fulfill what she wanted to. Like I can't fulfill driving like I wanted to, but she wanted to go back to her hometown Miami so bad, and she did that. You know, and she made it like as if the reason why she went to Miami because that abusive narcissistic husband that she never divorced. She lied to me and said that was her ex-husband, but they were still married. Well, he was still controlling her and her son was a narcissistic bossy perp at 8 years old. And so Janet was a perp but made it like she was financially struggling. And um when she said that her reason for going back to Miami is because her husband took that Lincoln, he took the car, he confiscated the car back. He took the car back, and that was her reason for going back down to Miami. He took the car away from her, but she treated me like she didn't trust me to drive. First she juiced my head up to think that she was gonna let me drive, and she did. And I didn't realize the perps were hitting me with energy weapons on purpose to cause my leg to shake uncontrollably. And then, a couple of days later, she treated me like she didn't trust me to drive. And I'm like, the perps must have watched everything we did, and they must have put something in her head and told her something that made her change her attitude. I even like, here, Janet, I have such and such a money. She try to make it like, oh, it's too dangerous to drive in the Miami neighborhoods. I'm like, I mean, like, even by where your mom is, like, so, I mean, I even offered to pay her to, let me rebuild my confidence again with driving, you know, but they were gang stalking me super heavy when I was from day one. I was like, when I was by Janet, and then she set me up to have a bed with bed bugs in it. And then try to gaslight and lie. And the house, her apartment smelled like strong weed, strong enough that the girl at the storage unit, the married dyke at the storage unit, was telling me that you smell very good today, Candy. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I couldn't smell it, but she smelled like she said that I smelled like weed. And I was like, well, I wasn't even aware. I didn't even realize that I smelled like weed too. So Janet acting like she was bitter and mad because her new boyfriend Tim, who was also a perp, um, and the way Tim acted, kind of like the biological brother Pete. But I think that Pete is more dangerous than Tim. But they must have poisoned Tim's head too, because and Tim, with dealing with Tim, when he came over, everything had to be loud and noisy. There's no peace or quiet with Tim. Just fucking ignorant. And so and then when Janet took me to Bruton, Alabama, by where Tim is, where Tim's family lives there, And I had people perping me, people who drove by perping me. And I remember vividly a brown skinned black guy drove a red car and one headlight and gave me a mean, evil ass look. It's like he didn't even know me. He was just a random stranger passing by near Tim's house. And we were leaving Tim's house. And Janet got the news that her mom's cousin got shot and killed by the police. And then a few days later, we got the stimulus check. And so after we got the stimulus check, that's when Janet rushed to go to Miami. And it's like, I'm glad I experienced what I experienced, but I really wish I could have gotten to go to the beach and get to swim. But because of COVID, I couldn't do that. So, but I wish that I could have gotten to explore Miami on my own. But I didn't like it there because ain't no peace or no quiet over there. But I love that they have Whole Foods and Trader Joe's and Aldi. I love the beach. And I also love all the coconut trees and banana trees and mango trees and avocado trees. Yeah, I love those trees. That they're everywhere. And so in Miami, during the crackdown, I don't think you got to worry about starving because there's plentiful trees. Almost everybody got at least two mango trees in their backyard. Or they got some coconut trees, banana trees, plantain trees, whatever. So Miami is blessed in that aspect. But I hate that it looks like it's unsafe and high crime. But I've taken my walks to, I've a couple of times walked, taking a walk in Janet's mom's neighborhood, just walking for exercise and exploring new things and just, sightseeing and walking and getting exercise. And Janet, she even took me to her son's father, which is that husband, his grandma's house. The husband's grandma's house. And so they acting like they extra love me over there. But the husband's mom, I don't remember their names, but the husband's mom was from, I think the grandma and the mom were from New York. And the mom, she pretty much acted like she didn't really respect my boundaries, pretty much, invading my space and all that, But yeah, but I really hate the idea that my life can't really go the way I want. I'm 38 years old and not allowed to make my own choices, but people younger than me can make my decisions for me or choose what I should have in life. And then if I point out being older than they straight up tell me, I don't give a fuck about you being older than me, or I don't give a fuck about being younger than you. But then for me to try to stand up to them trying to bully and boss me around. But when I was younger, I had to deal with people reminding me about their age and to try to put me in my place when I was young. If I got out of line or been disrespectful or anything like that. So, but people can not only be disrespectful, but they can try to boss me. Like, I wasn't a child or a younger adult and I'm 38 years old, and I still do not go and try to tell people what they can and can't have in life, or I don't try to dish out unsolicited advice. I don't I don't really try to tell people how to live their lives. I don't try to tell people what to do. Only when it interferes with me. So if you might be like, well, you can't tell me I can't smoke in my apartment. Well, but you smoking in your apartment or out on your front porch, it's seeping through my house and I gotta smell it. So that's where, I mean, you keep your stuff in your space and I keep it in mine. So if you want to blast loud music, oh, you can't tell me, how loud to have my music on my TV. Well, it's interfering with my house and I don't want it here. So stuff like that. But I don't try to tell people, well, you should eat here, or you're wasting your money. If you buy this, you're wasting your money, or you should eat here, or you should wear your hair like this, or that doesn't look good on you, you should wear this. I don't do that. If a person looks bad, you know, I just be me and just I don't I mean I'm really, if you look bad, like, I don't really, that doesn't get underneath my skin, or I'm not bothered by you looking bad for a day. You might look bad one day, but tomorrow you can look better. But I don't really try to judge how you look. I don't try to judge your appearance or feel like certain opportunities in your life should be halted because you look a certain way. I mean, so if a person wears one green shoe and one pink shoe, I don't think that they should be halted from having a job because of the one day they decide. I mean, they got people who wear rainbow colored hair and they can still get good jobs. And back then, they used to be more modest and say that if your hair was dyed a certain color, or if your hair was dyed a certain color, if you had tattoos and piercings and stuff, they used to be like, well, we ain't gonna hire you because you look to whatever such a way. But here I look as plain as I can get and can't get a job, you know. And yeah, I'm only forced to take jobs that's well below what I'm qualified for. But some people say, oh, put your degree to the side and just humble yourself and go ahead in that kitchen and wash those dishes. Well, I've done that and been mobbed off the doggone job, or been wrongfully fired, or manipulated into quitting and stuff like that. I've been taking these low jobs, but y'all run me off the low jobs and want me with nothing. Y'all the ones who want me with nothing, to be punished with nothing good at all. As I said, I got online strangers whose face I will never see in life can dictate what restaurant I should eat at, or that I shouldn't eat at a restaurant. And that's trying to have champagne on a beer budget. Trying to dictate my every move. I will never see you in person. So why should you care? Just like, why should you care whether or not I drive and I will never meet you in person? Or why should you care what restaurant I eat at? Now, the same person who doesn't want me driving in a car would say that it's a shame for somebody to tell you what restaurant you can eat at. Well, you should throw yourself in the same shame yourself too. Because I wouldn't tell you what restaurant you can eat at, or I wouldn't tell you don't drive. The only way I would tell somebody to not drive, I wouldn't say that you're not capable forever. But I never been in a predicament to tell somebody don't drive. But like, if the person that's supposed to drive has a medical emergency and can't drive, or if they're drunk, then I would say, don't drive. But it's just normal every day. Oh, I don't want you to drive because I don't like you. I don't want you with a car because I don't like you. I don't like you. And I even saw on Facebook in 2020, about a year and a half ago, about how targeted individuals supposedly get jealous of each other. Or, just like the perps don't want to see you with anything good, other TIs don't want to see you with anything also. So it's like, but guess what? J Demon Rotten shit She waited at least 2 weeks from a video that I did. I think it was December 20th. She waits 2 weeks later to falsely report that video for privacy violation when I put her real name in the video. I mean on the title, because how many times she had videos putting my real name, but when I do it, you can report me for privacy violation. But how did she won't tell me how did you get my phone number? And you violating me by trying to call and text and harassing me. But then just this morning I got a notification with a privacy violation. But you've done the same thing to me. You have doxed me and put out my ebooks onto my Amazon ebooks and then try to criticize them. And then copy off shit's Yachtine K Star Bricker with my writing false bad reviews on all my ebooks. But y'all, I don't want to hear a fucking thing. If y'all violate my privacy and disrespect and abuse me, and then turn around and how can you report me for privacy violation when you put in the title Candy Grandpre, stop lying and burning bridges. Candy Grandpre is lying about this, or Candy Grandpre is this, that, whatever. But when I put your whole name out there and say that you're threatening me, you're threatening my life, you're putting me in danger, and I can't even go to the police. I can't go to the police. But I'm telling you the life-threatening threats that you're making at me. Oh, you want to cry about, you wait 2 weeks. That's how I know you're just trying to destroy me. Because you want to try to, and then they stalk and watch like my every post online. And they stalk, I mean, these 3-hour videos. Oh, they're crying, complaining. Oh, your videos are too long. Well, unsubscribe. Don't and then they force themselves to watch my videos and then try to control me, saying that you should keep your videos to a maximum of 10 minutes. YouTube doesn't have that rule, so what makes you think you got the right to give me that rule? I have you blocked, and you should have nothing to do with me. Stay away from me. Stop stalking, following, or harassing me. You're the sick, insane dyke. The fact that you feel the need to be obsessed with another female and project your homosexuality onto me. And then saying stuff like, you are my slave, bitch. Stuff like that. And threaten to bash my head in concrete. And to try to be like, well, I know that you shop at the Publix at Seashells. Well, they all know, Frank. The Seashells Collections. I know you shop at that Publix right there. And I know that you go to this library, and I know where you work at, and I know this, and I'm going to call this person, I'm going to call that person, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that to you. And I'm going to kill you, I'm going to get my gun, or I have a boyfriend who's a hacker. And then Alex Dupree saying that I'm going to blast you with my Orgasmo blaster with the directed energy weapons. Ha, 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 ha. So, I think it was the day before yesterday, I got some harassing texts and calls. Again, with them playing back my own YouTube videos. Just trying to make me out to look crazy. But then when I say, how come it's okay for other targeted individuals to have a job and a car, or work at home, or work from home, or run their own business? They said, well, don't worry about them. You worry about what other people have, but you're the one telling me that I shouldn't do these things. But then you block me and sabotage me and say you don't want me to have these things. And then I said, well, how come it's okay for them to have? And they're like, oh, you need to stop worrying about what other people have. But the thing is, they're worrying about what I have or what I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get, on my own. I mean, it would be nice if I could have, a vehicle donated to help me better my life and better myself. But, I'm not dependent on or expecting really anybody to do it. But I would like to get to do it on my own. But even the guy today told me basically that $10 an hour will not get you far at all in life. you know. And but I mean, as I said, if you wanted to help me, why didn't you help me with this passive income job opportunity that I overheard you telling these other two people about? Why didn't you tell me about that opportunity? So and but it's like they want to keep you down and won't let you get ahead, and like, and it's like I'm not trying to get extravagant success or fame or any of that. I'm just, want to survive simply and be happy. But, the same narcissistic abusers, they feel like I shouldn't be trusted with a gun. Well, I've been living with a knife for years, and whatever apartment, house, or wherever I live in, and I never stabbed nobody, and I never hurt nobody with a knife. So, I mean, I don't get it. The idea, how people say that the Second Amendment, you have a right to bear arms. So that it's like the car and gun thing with the knife and bike. You get it? But there are other things a person can be dangerous with. I've had people who nearly hit me with their bikes, who try to, even in Los Angeles, reckless perps who try to deliberately run over me with their bikes on the sidewalk while I'm walking and they ride their bike, and they try to bump into me with their bike on purpose. And one of them did, I think once, at least, definitely once, but probably twice. I've had somebody, you know, hit me with their bike while they were on it. So I mean, I knew bits and pieces about gang stalking and being a targeted individual, but I didn't get the full picture until 2019. And sometimes if you research enough narcissistic abuse, you're going to run into gang stalking topics also. If you run into enough gang stalking topics, then you're going to run into narcissistic abuse talk. So they go hand in glove. So they had somebody with the name Lil Greedy Entertainment and had a song called Candy. And I thought that person was perping me. Come on, man. Oh man. This is wow. I had to kill one gnat earlier. And then this was the second gnat in here. But yesterday, all I saw was one gnat. And all I had to kill was one gnat. So this one gnat right here, the rest of the gnats disappeared. But I guess when the weather warms up in a couple of days, they're probably going to come back full force. Because Thursday is supposed to be like 70 degrees during the day, and it's supposed to be rainy that day. But I'm feeling much better now to be able to vent and get this off my chest rather than being forced to bottle my emotions and then have an outburst and lose my temper. And certain people with narcissistic personalities, I gotta stay away from them because they're narcissistic enough that their mouth is lethal. So to protect and safeguard myself, I gotta avoid people like them. That their mouth is so harsh and lethal with their abuse with their mouth. The words that come out of their mouth with their abuse, it's like they can kill you, murder you with their own words. So now I got this one Nat gang stalking and harassing me. But yeah, yesterday, that person, I can't yet reveal who this person is, aggressively demanded that I write on paper what the foster mom's name is. And I didn't want to. And it's like, this person pretends to make it like as if he is against bullying. And I thought him and the lady that they weren't part of the gang stalking. But they both were wearing red yesterday, or a variation of red yesterday. Both of them. But um, I didn't tell them in advance that I was coming. And so I talked to them, and the guy demanded to know the foster mom's name. And it's like, but you should respect my right to not tell you, but it's like he would not accept me refusing to tell him. Somebody that's, again, younger than me, think they got rulership and control over me. And then try to, because he made it like he wanted to give me encouragement about getting a car or go to a buy here, pay here place. And I told him my frustrations about people not wanting me to drive or have a car. And then he tried to make it like, promise me that you will never ever talk negative again. And it's like, I was so like, paralyzed by fear that I didn't realize until after, like, wait a minute, what did I just say? Now I said, well, I promise I'll never talk negative again. And I was like, wait a minute, I didn't realize that I was just being manipulated. But no, it's impossible. Not that when you talk about the gang stalking, you ain't trying to be negative. But it's like when you tell a narcissistic, and I didn't know until yesterday, I realized you're a narcissistic abuser too. And it seems like as if a lot of the times narcissistic personality come with homosexuality and being gay. Not always, but a lot of the time. And that's why you see so much domestic violence relationships with homosexual, especially the women. And I've seen it myself, with the I mean, so it's mainly the women. But and it's funny because the feminine lesbian is always the one that controls the masculine lesbian. And the masculine lesbian is the one who ends up the victim in a domestic violence shelter. And then was perping me in a doggone domestic violence shelter. That happened to me in 2011. It's like, how the hell like, no matter what orientation, if you've been a woman that's been abused by her husband, end up in a domestic violence shelter, and then you act in a way towards me like workplace mobbing or community mobbing, and you perping me at the domestic violence shelter. And I mean, I never really been in a domestic violence relationship, but the reason why I ended up in a domestic violence shelter because of being raped by that narcissistic perp Giovanni in Denton, Texas. And he didn't tell me till after the rape, and he terrorized me and trapped me in the house for 3 days, and then ran off with my stuff, ran off with my laptop, and ran off with my laptop and my money, and I don't remember what else. He ran off with all my stuff. Well, not all my stuff, but he ran off with what was valuable to me. And then he lied and said, you said share. Share doesn't mean run off with my damn computer and then keep it for yourself. And then he took all what was important to him and just left useless clothes with a red duffel bag. So, but then that laptop, I think it was a Dell laptop, and my laptop was red. Come to think of it. But that I didn't even know anything about the gang stalking or nothing like that. Nothing at all at that time. And I didn't know about narcissistic abuse either. But, you know, it's the reverse. It's like the narcissistic abusers that try to control you, they're the ones who people say that they have crazy eyes. Now, people have called me crazy all these years, but nobody has ever really told me that you got crazy eyes. Nobody really told me I got crazy eyes or eyes of a psychopath. You know, and nowadays, you know, I don't try to go around and hurt people. I don't try to hurt or try to destroy anybody. And if I caught myself trying to do something destructive for revenge, I can never get away with it. It will never fall through or succeed, and it backfire on me. Like, I get my instant karma. I don't like to use that word karma, but you know, so-called reaping what you sow. Yeah, I get that instantly. But so I don't even try to go around doing that to people. You know, I can never get anybody, you know, succeed at, and I don't go around trying to, you know, get my enemies destroyed. But they damn sure have put a destruction on my life. But yeah, it's like narcissistic abusers want to try to. That's one of the things. Like, you can't tell them a bad situation you're going through, and then they just like to repeat fake stuff that's cliche, that stuff that everybody believes, and make it like as if it's their exclusive statement. You know, and try to tell me that, oh, you quitting your job. You know, you quit your job, so you're only hurting yourself. Or you should think about those consequences, and now who's the suffering? Well, I mean, who's the one suffering? Nobody but you. Who's the one suffering? No, they're not suffering. You're the one who's suffering. And then they try to make it like it's so easy to just attain your goals and succeed in life, not being a targeted individual. They don't think there's a such thing as other people sabotaging you. You know, they don't think that there's a such thing as other people sabotaging you. Oh man, I feel much better with expressing myself, expressing my emotions and feelings. And you know, want to know something that's crazy? I can have some long videos and short videos, and the narcissistic perps who cry out, you know, I blocked you, and you're mad because you can't get access to your hurtful comments. Because, you know, they want to murder you with their harsh, sadistic, abusive words. They want to murder you with their words. So, so they got the time to read everything that you do, watch everything that you do. And it's amazing how they got that much time to keep up with you and nobody else. If I post up 15 videos in one day, some people act like they get tired. Oh, or they want to unfollow because of unsubscribe because of the one time I got 15 videos in one day. A blast of 15 videos all in one day. Because there's so much heavy harassment going on that day. I've seen other targets do the same thing. And if other targeted individuals, I've seen them partner with another TI to do an 8-hour live video to discuss this program, then why should I be punished with having my videos for 10 minutes? Or, I'm not allowed to have a voice. So everybody trying to control me, but at the same time, you say I'm negative because I listen to it. That you think that I listen to it. If nobody can control me, then I could have had the things that I wanted in life. But because of my targeting and after finding out the truth and stuff, I'm not materialistic or full of consumerism much anymore like I used to. After I've been educated with the truth, now I no longer desire, a big fancy car. But, if I can just get a dependable car that's just, it can be a 1998 car if it's donated to me or if I bought it. I just don't want it to be a dirty car or a car that doesn't work or a car with a lot of mechanical problems. If you can just, if I, can work my way, or if there's a way for me to get a decent running vehicle to get me, because there are certain things that I might need that, as I said, if people make like you don't trust me to drive, but you suggest, oh, why don't you get an electric scooter? Oh, an electric scooter? Well, you can trust me with an electric scooter or a bike. Excuse me. But I can't be trusted with a car. Just like I can be trusted with a knife, but I can't be trusted with a gun. But I had never touched a gun. Not a real gun, but of course toy guns, like water guns as a kid, a very young child. I was probably in elementary school last time I dealt with a water gun, squirt guns, water guns. But I don't even think about guns, you know, um, despite people emphasizing the Second Amendment. But who is another stranger to deny you rights? A stranger who does not have authority or rulership over you. And the narcissistic perks, they want to get their popcorn and laugh at my videos for entertainment while complaining that my videos are too long. And sometimes it might take you 3 hours to talk about something. If me talking in this video is helping me to calm down, and if it works to help me calm down from being angry enough to want to kick a hole in the wall or knock down the refrigerator or punch the mirror or do something destructive, if that's a coping mechanism for me, if that helps me feel better, or reading the Bible and praying and also venting, if that helps me sleep at night, then I'm going to do my doggone 3-hour long videos. And for my supporters, that I don't have many left, let's see, 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 or 5. I ain't got that many people. But the few little ones, the narcissistic perps think I should be grateful for one supporter. That I don't even deserve that. But my few little supporters who believe me and understand me, it means a lot. And thank you. And thank you for having, faith that, I am capable. Because I don't want to be friends with somebody who thinks you don't have the mentality to drive a car. Or you won't give me a reason why you think I shouldn't be driving, and then turn around and blame God. And all your YouTube videos or whatever other social media posts, it's always narcissistic lectures. So, I mean, the perps got time out of their day to amazingly keep up with all of my videos. And I actually believe that they probably expand that they want to see every detail of my video. That they're lifeless enough that they expand the videos, they probably put it on full screen. They probably turn it up as loud as they could. They probably go back and rewind it and probably play it back several times. Y'all bitches ain't got nothing better to do. And it's okay for y'all to make money. It's okay for y'all to make a living. Oh, gang stalkers gotta eat too. How come targeted individuals can't? Because they got some other targeted individuals that say that their perps won't allow them to have a car either, or that their perps won't allow them to get whatever goals that they want to accomplish in life. But I do understand that our soul is more important in eternity and stuff. But I just can't get it out of my head being bothered by people, the foster mom and everybody in society, and then people like there must be some reason why people don't want you driving. Well, how must there be a reason if I'm not told? Because you think what you think that I might go out and do. That's something bogus and crazy that you think I might go out and do. That's like if you say, well, I don't want you to work at Whataburger because you're going to get mad and throw hot grease on somebody. Some hot French fry grease on somebody. But then they do stuff, the narcissistic perps provoke a target. Not just me, and I've never thrown hot grease on anybody. And I couldn't picture myself doing that. But I'm just using for an example. Oh, I don't want you working at Whataburger or Burger King or Popeyes because you're gonna go around throwing hot grease on people. But then they'll do something like harass and provoke you on purpose to get mad and and throw something at you. And then they'll rather take that risk of being injured and hurt by a target, or have something bad happen, to them by a target, just so they can be like, oh, see, that proves my point. But you're sitting there walking around limping and, stuff like that. It's like they provoke us to lose our temper and fly off the handle. So a lot of us targeted individuals, we got certain talents that the perps want to suppress. So if it's a therapeutic outlet for us to journal, to write, to draw, to sing songs, to do some form of creativity or art that they want to suppress. And if a target can be very talented, but not recognized by them and don't want to be affiliated or associated with the mainstream music industry, they may not want to be, associated with the mainstream music industry. But if they can be super talented with playing the violin or something like that, or play the flute, or if they're great with gardening, planting fruit trees, or if they like to sun gaze, or if they love nature walks, the perps got a problem with that. They got a problem with you go and do your laundry. They don't want you to do your laundry. But then if you walk around with dirty clothes, they criticize and call you trifling, filthy, nasty, dirty, whatever. They got a problem with everything you do. It's like they got a problem complain about you doing this that has nothing to do with them. This none of none of their business, and then you do opposite, and then they got something else to say. And I didn't realize this is how demons operate in the human flesh. That they're self-righteous and holier than thou. And y'all laughing at me, but we all gotta stand, you know, stand to God at judgment for everything we do and say. We all gotta give an account. So if they try to make it like I'm such a loser for being on the streets complaining about having nothing, and they think I'm a loser for being on the streets complaining about not having anything. And then when I get a motel room to stay out of the cold or bad weather, they complain about that too. But you have a comfortable place and a car, family, happy, hardly any drama or problems with your family. You and your family, y'all are good, you know, and you got a drama-free family. But you sitting there stalking and harassing an innocent stranger and bullying an innocent stranger online. But yeah, I mean, thanks for listening to me, whoever, for and giving me the being receptive to me venting about nearly losing my mind about being 38 years old and prevented from doing stuff that people do every day. Commute, drive, go to work. Now I had to be punished with, and set back with an Uber or cab. And I don't even want to take these cabs since the owners don't want to hire me. And a lot of cab drivers are perps. They're money hungry scam perps. And some of the Uber drivers even go the long way on purpose. And it's like, well, why are you going this way? Oh, they got less lights. Or, they don't have that many, they, so, or it's like, well, you could have gone just straight down this street. Why are you going all these loops and holes on purpose to make it, if I gotta try to get to work early and an Uber is or whatever is holding me back, or you being a target, if they'll create if you can try to leave work an hour early and still there's like a manufactured street theater fake car accident on purpose to make you late for work, and then you lose your job and get fired, even if you're commuting and driving yourself. But I just wish I could get over that hurdle of people making it like as if I'm not mentally capable of driving, or they don't want me driving or having a vehicle. And some people say, well, if you're homeless, then you can go live in your car. And that'll be partially a safe haven, you know. But how you going to tell me don't drive or don't try to get a car, or you should take the money that you work for, that you should take that and go get you a permanent place and say that, well, and you have a permanent place and say that, well, if I end up back homeless, then I'm going to go and get a car. Right after you just condemn and shame me for wanting a car. And then they got their smear campaigns doctored up if you ever air them out or speak out against what they did to you or who did this and how they're making you feel. As I say, I don't want to be friends with people like that. Narcissistic control freaks. Well, damn, do you think that everybody's a narcissistic control freak, fake friend? I hope you don't feel that way about me. Well, now I do. Just freaking manipulative. And I just can't believe it. you know. And so and it seems like religious narcs, they make it like as if everybody deserves to be punished with God sending plagues on this earth to destroy you because they personally have a problem with you and don't like you, but they're trying to project that onto God. So wrong. It's just not fair. But other narcs that are not religious, they try to play God and make it like as if when something bad happens to you, that's your karma. Or they'll say karma's a bitch. But they have their own personal acts of revenge to destroy you and then blame it on karma. And say, what goes around comes around. But they did it. They inflicted their own revenge and wrath and destruction onto you, the victim, for ever standing up or speaking out against their abuse and control towards you. I feel so much better speaking out of what I've been angry with for a while. So this does not pertain to you perps who have a problem with my long ass videos and can't even stay on topic. Or the fake ass TIs with these long ass videos. This does not pertain to y'all who have a problem want to complain about my 3-hour videos. But I had a lot of venting to get out. And that's why even like the end of 2020, I was getting a lot of videos out. And some people be like, well, go ahead, do those videos because it's part of your testimony. And then when you get bullied because of it, then they switch their narrative and say, well, you deserve to be bullied and you should have kept your mouth shut and you shouldn't be telling all your business, or you should stop throwing other people under the bus. That same person. And the same person being like, well, you can't trust anybody. Well, I damn sure can't trust your fake ass, your fake, twisted, demonic ass. That you think I deserve to be punished for isolation and think I shouldn't reach out to other TIs for help or support, or you liken that to idolatry or having too much faith in man, that I should just suffer this all alone and not post any videos. And I'm supposed to be scared of you if you're close to a decade younger than me, or 2 decades, or a decade and a half younger than me, and try to have this, have me under this kind of control and fear of you. Now, I'm not allowed to speak out, and I know that if I did, then, naming names, then, if they want to do their videos, smear campaigning and slandering and lying on me, and everybody defending and agreeing with them, and I got to deal with that all over again, and then additional TIs hating my guts because of what this narcissistic control freak fake TI perp said. So thanks for the people who support me and believe me telling the truth. Thanks for thank you for taking your time out, even if you gotta watch 10 minutes and then pause and then come back later and watch another 30 minutes and then pause and bits and pieces. You don't have to watch the whole 3 hours all at once unless you want to, or if you got spare time on your hands. But, it means a lot for you to even take your time out to listen to my crazy ass for 3 hours. I mean, for you to watch this all the way through. I'm just crying out for help and support, emotional support, So it ain't the full 3 hours, but I'm going to go for now. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all in a while. Bye.